Alright, and welcome back to another deck profile. This was another one that I was challenged to make by someone down in the comments. Now, this is an interesting one because I know the guy who suggested it, and I know exactly why he suggested it, because I am not a big fan of the original series. I don't like how much Konami spends time trying to help people circle jerk to the original series when they could be balancing their card game or just advancing it in some way instead of making it feels like they focus too much on that and not okay, that is for a different time. This is about the deck, and now, as you saw from the comment and title, it is a god card deck. Now this this is just like the Thousand Eyes deck. This is something I never would have done if I wasn't challenged to do so, but I actually ended up really liking the final product. Surprisingly, it's actually very fun to play and consistent enough to work, we'll say. Alright, so getting into it, we have 3 Obelisk, 2 Raw, and 1 Slifer. Now, I went with those ratios because Obelisk is the best. He's a 4K guaranteed. With Mount of the Bound Creator and his effect, you can just pretty much sit on him and they don't have any choices but to swing over him with stuff like Utopia the Lightning and things like that. So you're really most of the time going to be sitting on Obelisk. Raw, we have it 2 because it can outstuff with its secondary effect if you don't want to pay all your life points. But if you do, you can just pay yourself down to 100 and swing for like 79 and massive amounts of damage. So Raw is also pretty good, and we only run the 1 Slifer because you really only want to set up Slifer after you have another one on the field for a little bit of protection with Slifer's secondary effect to have your monsters, to have your opponent's monsters that are special summon and attack lose 2,000 attack. So you go for him second after the other ones, and you could search him out by destroying your Mount of the Bound Creator, getting Slifer to your hand, and then bringing him out after you already have one of your other ones up. That's mainly when you're going to want to go for him. So that's pretty much why we have the ratios as we do with 3, 2, and 1, with 6 total God cards. Now, how are we going to get them out on the field? Obviously, there are cards like Ra's Disciple. There's Double Summon. And cards like that, but they take time, they're slow, they're very inconsistent, and I want to get God cards out right now, god damn it. And we are doing that through a mix of a few different engines. Starting off with, we have the Speedroid engine. We have 3 Terrortop and 2 Takatomberg. Now, the reason we run 3 and 2 is because obviously we're going to want to bring out multiple God cards. We don't just want to stop at one. We want to get out an Obelisk and a Raw, an Obelisk and a Slifer. We want to get out a combination of them. So we have all of our engines set up so that we can resolve them twice, assuming we don't draw any of the pieces that we don't want to. So that's why we have some interesting ratios for the engines, because we want to be able to resolve them twice. We want to be able to spam out God cards, so that's why we have them like that. But obviously, Terrortop and Takatomberg, you just bring him out before you do anything else, and then you have your 2 free monsters on field, so it's pretty good. It also allows you to go into Totem Bird for protection and Break Sword to out a few things. There are actually times where, say, you have 2 3s on field and then 2 other monsters, so you have 4 total and you don't have a God card out yet. You can go do a Break Sword, pop a Mount of the Bound Creator, search one, then Tribute, so the 3s open up some pretty good advantages for the deck. Also, for more 3s, we have 2 Predator Plant, Orpheus Scorpio, and 2 Predator Darlingtonia Cobra. I think I'm saying those right, and probably not. Now, whenever you normal summon or special summon the Scorpio, you can ditch a monster from your hand and special the Cobra, which nets you any polymerization spell card or fusion spell card. So basically, the main play with these is you normal summon the Scorpio, you ditch a card, you special the Cobra, and then you add a Brilliant Fusion, so that you can use the Brilliant Fusion, you have 4 monsters on field, and your second normal summon to bring out your God card. Also, when you have 4 monsters on field, that's like times you can go into a Break Sword and pop something before you actually go into your God card. Again, like your Mount of the Bound Creator. So this is pretty much the strongest engine because it gets you 4 monsters in the guaranteed either Instant Fusion or Brilliant Fusion. And say you already have your Brilliant Fusion, you can search your Instant Fusion. So these cards in combination are definitely insane. And if you have a Trick Clown in hand, that's even more pluses off of this little combo here. This, with 1 other monster in hand, is a guaranteed way to get to your God cards, pretty much. And then we also run 2 Trick Clown and 2 Garnet because we are running Brilliant Fusion. Trick Clown's obviously the best one because it specials itself back, so Brilliant Fusion on its own is 2 normal summons and 2 monsters as tribute, so Brilliant Fusion by itself can a lot of the time help you get a God card out. And rounding off the monster scout, we have 1 Gigabyte, just because we do run Trick Clown, and we can make rank 4s occasionally, so there are some times where Like say we have an instant fusion and a Trick Clown engrave. We can use the instant fusion, grab the Trick Clown back, go into a King of the Pharaoh Lamps, detach the Trick Clown to search a Gigabyte, special back the Trick Clown, special back the the Gigabyte, and then you have 3 monsters on field just off of your instant fusion that you contribute for a God card. So that's why we have the 1 Gigabyte. And rounding off the monsters, we have 1 Jizukiru, 1 Lightning Strike Kaiju, and 1 Gamma Seal. The reason we run these Kaijus are, these are 2 light targets, so in case we draw our Trick Clowns, our Brilliant Fusions are still alive. And also we run the strongest and the weakest, so that whenever we slumber, we can give our opponent a weak one and us a strong one. Slumber is good for the deck because, say your opponent sets up their field, you just slumber it, you bring out Gamma Seal on their side, a strong one on their side, and then you get rid of all their problem cards, and not only do you have all their problem cards gotten rid of, but you have a monster on your side of the field that you can use as tribute fodder for your God cards. So Slumber is pretty broken in the deck. We also, like we were talking about, have 1 or 2 Mound of the Bound Creator and 2 Terraforming. Mound of the Bound Creator is a card that states level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So this really helps protect your God cards. Also, if a level 10 or higher monster on the field destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controlled the destroyed monster takes 1000 damage, and whenever this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, but whenever it's destroyed and sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 divine monster from your deck to your hand. And that is also why we play 3 MST. We really won't have enough in hand to ditch off of Twin Twisters, and also a lot of the time we are going to want to be hitting our Mound of the Bound Creator ourselves to search any God card we want, so we run the 3 MST to pop the Mound of the Bound Creator. But basically, if you can set up a Mound of the Bound Creator and an Obelisk, you're pretty much good to go. As long as they don't have a Lightning or something that can get over 4K, you're pretty much set. And then we have 3 Brilliant Fusion and 2 Instant Fusion. We can search them off Cobra. They are insane. They really help us go off, get tribute fodder on the field. These are definitely necessary. We run the 3 Brilliant Fusion because by itself it's pretty good, but we only run the 1 Instant Fusion, or the 2 Instant Fusion, because we can search it off of Cobra. It's not as important as Brilliant Fusion, which is why we only run the 2. I also wanted to make space for 2 Storming Mirror Force. Now, the logic behind these as the only 2 traps is if you have Mound of the Bound Creator and Obelisk out, like we've been talking about, like that's your main play, the only way they're getting over it is by swinging over it. So if you flip a Storming Mirror Force, that's it for them. Obviously, it doesn't protect, it doesn't stop lightning, but if they don't have lightning and they have some other way, like say in Zombies, there's Shiranui Shogun Saga, they can banish one from the grave, and then it's up to like say 45 or something. And then they try to swing up your Obelisk, you just flip a Storming Mirror Force, and you don't have to worry about anything again. Everything is basically reset, and your Obelisk is safe. And that's it for the main deck choices. In the extra deck, we have 1 Elder Entity Norden and 2 Thousand Eyes Restrict. These are just targets for your instant fusion. With Thousand Eyes Restrict, you can just take one of their monsters and then tribute over it and be done, basically. Norden, it's the same deal. It can net you 2 tributes or a rank 4 play. Pretty damn good. Like we said, we want to resolve everything twice, so we run the 2 Seraph Knights for our 3 Brilliant Fusions. So hopefully we don't draw into our second Garnet, and we can resolve it twice. And then most of the time we're going to be going into rank 3s and 4s. So we run 1 Mech Equipped Engineer, 1 Totem Bird, 1 Break Sword. And then for those, we run our 1 Downward Magician, just in case we use up the materials. Like, especially for Totem Bird, we don't want to have a weak Totem Bird sitting there, so Downward's a little bit better. And then we run Emerald, Castel, Tornado Dragon, King of the Pharaoh Lamps, Utopia, and Utopia the Lightning, the one card that kills us. Grr. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my fist at it. Emerald's just there to recycle our pieces. Say we have a Garnet in hand and we want to resolve Brilliant Fusion again. There's one engraved. We can just shuffle it back, resolve it again. All pretty good stuff there. Same thing with Terrortop, Takatomberg, the Predator Plant Engine. It helps you use all those basically over again. Castel to out things. If you're running rank 4s, you're pretty much always going to run a Castel. Tornado Dragon to clear up some back row before we tribute or before we attack, things like that. King of the Pharaoh Lamps just because it can come up to get us 3 tributes, and then Utopia the Lightning just because, again, it can out anything, it can help you push for game, does a lot of damn good stuff. And then just a few more options for the deck. There are some other ways you can do this, although I think this is pretty damn consistent, and having access to the rank 3s is pretty good for the deck, but there are other ways to do it. My first thought was immediately go Convulsion of Nature in the true name, which is the most gimmicky way to do it possible. And it doesn't really set you up for the next turn because your Obelisk just... Ugh. But if you want to be super gimmicky, you can play Convulsion of Nature and the True Name. I've also seen people doing rank 1 ways to bring this out, although I didn't like them because they were a bit slower, but Jester Confit, you can just special it from your hand, no cost whatsoever, and it's just free tribute fodder basically. You can run Lamia and Dark Contracts, basically the same thing, you activate it, and then you get a Lamia for free by ditching the contract, so it's just a free monster on the field, although they do take up a bit more space for only being tribute fodder, whereas everything we have in here acts as tribute fodder and can do something else. And these help us plus, whereas these are just tribute fodder if you happen to draw them. You could also do this with a rank 4 engine because of Brilliant Fusion. You have Trick Clown, you have Hat Tricker, King of the Feral Imps, Gigabyte. You could do that, and then your Seraphonite's extra normal summon, so you could do like a rank 4 variation of this, but I think this is a lot more fun. I just think the extra monsters you're going to be going into with this and how much you plus off of some of these combos is just a lot stronger. But anyway, let's get into a few replays for the deck. Alright, so getting into our first replay here, as you can see, we open up pretty well. We open the Predaplant engine, which is basically all we need to summon out a God card, and we have an Obelisk, but even if we didn't, we have a Terraforming, which would get us a Mound of the Bound Creator and an MST, so we'd be able to get a God card even if we didn't have one. But so obviously we can get a God card out pretty easily, and we got Obelisk and Mound of the Bound Creator, which is pretty much the strongest play we can make in the deck. So we'll go ahead and get rolling on this here. Pretty basic stuff. We're going first, so we just go for this. We summon out the Cobra, grab the Brilliant Fusion, and then just go off from there. And tribute 3 of those for the Obelisk, and leave our Seraphonite on field and pass it over to him. He's going to open with a few Despots here, a Machine Duplication, base, and limited removal, which is really the thing that does us in, because like I said in the profile, really how people are going to get over this is by swinging over it. So we're going to go ahead and see him do that here. So we'll see a Despot, 3 summon a 5, and then he's going to pop our back row and Machine Dupe on that 5. Which is going to give him enough 5s on the field to pop all of our back row and make an infinity. And then he'll suck up one of the other 5s, do the Cosmotown effect of base, activate the limited removal, and swing for some big damage and get over our Obelisk there, sadly. Now, we top deck the Storming Mirror Force here, which is, I mean, it would have been nice to have it last turn. That would have been nice if we could have opened that, but we didn't. So we'll top deck that, and then we'll just set that, and that's it for our turn. Now, he's just going to normal summon a Despot 2 and swing for 1,000. There's really no point to using the Storming on that. It'll go back over to us, and we'll draw a Mound of the Bound Creator. I activate that just in case for some reason he tries to pop it. And then going back over to him, he'll summon 3, which will let him summon 9 from deck. And whenever 9 attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So we can't use our Storming Mirror Force, and we get swung over for game, sadly. Now that was a loss, but he only won because he saw the limited removal, so we almost had it there. But I'm going to be showing wins and losses today to show, like, I don't want to show just the good stuff of the deck, I want to show the flaws too. And the major flaw is when your God cards can get swung over, so that's why I'm showing this off here. This one is actually really spicy. So you can see on his side here, I don't know what he's playing. I guess it's just Red Eyes, and he's going for some of the fusions. You can see a Flash Fusion and stuff there. But he's just going to set the Flash Fusion and pass. So, I mean, there's really nothing else he could do. Looks a little bit bricky there. And we open fucking amazing. We have our Predaplants, we have a Trick Clown, we have Brilliant Fusion, we have Instant Fusion. We have everything we need already. So we're just going to let this roll here and watch the magic happen. So we'll ditch the Trick Clown. So we'll get the Trick Clown and another Instant Fusion to hand. And then we'll go Brilliant Fusion, bring our Seraphonite, activate Mound, we'll use Break Sword, pop Mound, pop his back row just in case, add a Raw to hand, Instant Fusion, get our Norden, go King of the Feral Imps, get our Gigabyte, which, again, that, like I said, I really like having that in there. It's just, especially with Norden, that can extend your plays so much, so I really like having that in there. And as you can see here, that's what helped lead to all this. And obviously, we can pay the Raw downs to 5,900 attack, and that is way enough for game. So we actually got a spicy OTK in here with Winged Dragon of Ra, which is pretty much what it's best for. But we could have even gone Obelisk for the OTK, but Ra has more swag. And our next one here is actually a replay where we didn't use any God cards at all. So we open up against what looks like a Chaos Dragon kind of thing, pretty much. Chaos Mill deck, BLS in there. So pretty basic stuff there. He'll mill a few, but nothing really important. And he'll pass it over to us. And again, we opened fucking amazing. The only thing we didn't see was a god card, but if we did, this would have been extra spicy. But we're actually going to get through this one without any at all. So we'll use our Predator Plants, and we'll just go off from there. We'll ditch the Gigabyte. We're going off, as you can tell. And that's what's really crazy about the Predator Plants there, is just off of that card alone, and ditching one from hand, we ended up with 4 monsters on field that lets us go into all of this, which is absolutely insane. So we use the Break Sword, pop the Trick Clown, so we can bring it back with Norden. We'll go and do a Digos to Emerald. And then we're going to shuffle back, I believe, the Norden and a few other things there. Just to get our engines live again, we'll actually get into a Terrortop off of the draw from Emerald. Normal summon that with the other normal summon, and then go into a Totem Bird from there to try to lock him down a little bit. So we're doing damn well, and that's pretty much all off of Darlington, not Darlington Cobra, off of the Scorpio right there. So, I mean, even without God cards, sometimes the engines alone can do fairly well. We also have another one for next turn and an Instant Fusion live in hand, so we're still looking good with a Storming set. He's going to go for the BLS, go Battle Phase for the 2 swings, and get immediately Storming, at which point he's going to scoop, but he really didn't have anything left. So, can't blame him for that one. So you can actually win without the God cards too. It's not as spicy, but it's still there in case you don't see them. So we're going to move on to the next one here, which is actually against Pendulum Magicians. So we can see opening up here, he opened Iffy. I'm not sure about the new build. I'm not sure if they run Noble Dragon or how good of a build this is. I mean, it's only 11 in the extra deck here. Looks like it's just a Zark build pretty much. So he's going to go, I believe, just activate Pendulum Dragon. Yeah, set one, and then get one to hand. He's going to add the Wisdom Eye. Now, we opened up, again, pretty fucking amazing because we were a Terrortop, and we have our Brilliant Fusion, which is enough right there. We also have a Storming, an MST, an Obelisk, and a Raw. So we are definitely set. So we'll get rolling here. See, we're going to go Terrortop, Brilliant Fusion, all the good old lovely stuff. We'll tribute all those. I could have gone Break Sword and popped the face down, but I don't know, sometimes it's nice to keep the Seraph Knight on field, because especially as we have a Raw in hand, we want to be able to keep stuff to be able to maybe tribute that, you know, next turn. If we say we top deck a Terrortop or something, then we'd be able to summon that next turn. So that's why I wanted to leave the Seraph Knight on field there. And then we're just going to swing over the Noble Dragon Magician and pass it off to him. He's going to activate the Janky Magician, yeah, whatever it's called. I can't say it correctly. But he's going to activate that and the Wisdom Eye. I don't know. I didn't know what was in his hand, obviously, but I didn't want him to get any scale he wanted off of Wisdom Eye, so I went ahead and MST'd that, hoping he wouldn't have anything else in hand. But he does, and he's actually going to go for a Pen 5 here. So he'll bring out 2 Noble Dragons, 2 level 4s, and an Oddized Pendulum Dragon. And as we were dueling, I brought out Obelisk, and I think he said, like, now it's my turn or something whenever he did this before he Pen 5. So he's going to go for 2 Clear Wings. I'm not sure if that's like a Zark thing or something. But he's going to go to swing over the Seraph Knight, and he's going to get Storming all right back. So we'll top deck an MST. We're just going to hit him for 4K. Actually, if we would have popped the Wind Break Sword and popped the Noble Dragon, we actually would have won right here. But, you know, you never know in these kind of... You never know what's going to happen the next turn. So we're actually going to hit him for 4K there, take him down to half. Now, I was trying to, I wanted to MST right here because I knew he had, like, the Pendulum Dragon in hand that's scale 4 that wasn't really going to get him anything. I was clicking like a madman, but the game wouldn't let me. I guess he already started his, declaring for his Pendulum Summon or something, but the game just would not let me MST his scale. So he is going to get another massive Pendulum Summon off here. He's going to go for Lightning, our Bane of Existence in this deck, and swing right over our Obelisk. Now we're going to top deck a Trick Clown for turn here. We're just going to set that and hope that we could get something else again to tribute for Raw the next turn. Now right here, again, the second that he tribute summoned for that, I was trying to MST again and again. Well, actually, I was reading, so I let it go for a second, but then I realized and tried to MST, but the game, again, wouldn't let me. I guess I was too late. So he gets off another Pendulum Summon here, and he's going to hit us for a lot of damage there. And then we're going to top deck another Brilliant Fusion, which is not enough to bring out our Raw, and obviously not enough to keep us alive. And we're going to get gamed right here. But if I would have been able to activate the MST, that should have been a victory for us. And then moving on to the next one, we're against ABC here. Yes, we'll swap over to our side. He goes first. He's going to go Gadget into Core and search a B off of Gigant with a Lance set. Now we're going to start off with the Slumber here. He's actually going to Lance the Gigant so our Slumber doesn't go off, which is actually alright by me because that used up his Lance, and then we still have a Terrortop that we can work off of. Plus, the Slumber searches anyway. So we're going to go Terrortop instead, which is actually going to get Ghost Ogred. But even so, we have the Brilliant Fusion in hand. So we're going to go for the Brilliant Fusion, activate Mount of the Bound Creator, normal summon our Darlington Cobra, and then Tribute Summon for the Obelisk, and swing over the Gear Gigant X. And then Mount of the Bound Creator will do another 1,000 there. So, because of all the engines we run, and the, I guess just because, pretty much because of all the engines we run, all the ways we have to tribute summon the God cards, even if they stop one of them, you are probably going to have another one, especially with how one card pretty much starts all of them. So this deck can actually play through hand traps and occasional back row. Now we're going to see he gets the Rhoda, so we can make a Thrasher, and then summon the Buster, and go once again for Utopia the Lightning. Swing over our Obelisk, and leave us with a Takatomberg in hand, which we will top deck another Takatomberg. Although, that will let us normal summon one, special the other, and then make a Break Sword to get the Lightning off the field. Although, as we can see, he does have Raigeki in hand. Now, he's actually not going to use it because he's going to top deck the Union Hanger here. Which will let him get the C and then go into a Buster Dragon. Now, obviously I have the Kaiju in hand, so I was hoping that he would not tag out, even though he saw me search it. But he's smart and tags out here, at which point he gets so much advantage, we're really not going to be able to recover, especially just with a Brilliant Fusion and a Gamma Seal. So just to try and stay alive, we're going to use the Brilliant Fusion and pass it over to him. But he's just going to be able to special the B, add another one, and make a double Buster for game here. Which, I mean, there's just nothing we can do about that. He just top decked the Hanger and kind of pooped on our face there. But, again, just showing off some of the weaknesses of the deck. Mostly Utopia the Lightning here. Alright, and that is it for the God deck. I tested it before replays, obviously, to make sure it works. But playing it more and going through the replays, I think I might up Mount of the Bound Creator or Terraforming, or just the ratio of gods in general. Maybe throw another Slifer in there, just so we see them a little bit more, so we don't have to keep getting rid of our Mount of the Bound Creator. Also, I'd probably throw a Grand Pulse in there somewhere, just because with Break Sword, it's not live if you're going first to be able to pop your Mount of the Bound Creator to search a God card, so a Grand Pulse would be live first turn and let you search that out. So you could just say, like, swap out the Downerd for a Grand Pulse and be pretty good there. Other than that, maybe also throw another Kaiju in, just so so that Slumber's live twice, and also so if you draw one and then Slumber, you can still search one out later. So a fourth Kaiju might be good. Maybe another Storming, or just like cut a few things for 2 more traps, but I really didn't want to cut the engines down at all because I liked being able to resolve them twice. But yeah, that's about it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Again, this is something I normally wouldn't do, but you know, whatever you guys challenge me to make down in the comments, I'm gonna try to make. So if you have any ideas, good, bad, crazy, whatever they are, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to pick the best ones and make decks for those. Also, if you just want to see a different or interesting build of any deck you like, per se, like, I don't know, say you really love Ice Barriers and you want me to try to make an Ice Barrier deck for you, I'll try it. But anyway, I am rambling again, so thank you for watching, and I will see you later.